Okay, cool. Alright, let's see what we got here. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. So 2019's over, and there weren't that many remarkable AAA games this year. We had a Star Wars game, a new Kojima thing, some Not Souls, whoops, some Pokemans, and a couple of shooters. But overall, not a lot of big studio action to be had. And that's why, about midway through the year, I decided to give indie games a try. Boy, am I glad I did, because in 2019, I've discovered some incredible games. I feel like that should have more emphasis put on it, like give it a little italics or something. Incredible games. Games that can only be made by smaller teams of developers who could take risks without worrying about how it would affect their sales, who would drive home a singular vision or tell an interesting story. Now, as with any industry, not all these games succeed in their intent. Boom, but many of them do. Boom. So right hand, left hand, that's actually going to be the right side of the screen. That's actually going to be the left side of the screen. Or left side and right side, I mean. Alternative, whatever. And of the many amazing independent games that exist, some excel to such an extent that they create their own subgenre. One such game is Crypt of the Necrodancer. Now you might be wondering, who is this man? Cool. A few of this game's aspects I'll be... Now your main goal in Crypt of the Necrodancer is to fight your way down through the 4 zones of the Necrodancer's dungeon lair and ultimately defeat the Necrodancer himself. Oh, fuck, it's cold in here. Why is my hair, like, doing a thing right now? Chill the fuck out, hair. My hair's being, like, goofy as fuck right now. I love it. Okay. It differentiates itself through its central motif, dancing. Now every aspect of this game perfectly composites that core idea. Okay. There's also several gameplay mechanics I've not yet discussed that make you want to move to the beat of the music. The first of these being that if you remain in time with the tune, the ground turns into a disc game from killing monsters, let you buy items from the game's item shops. Each level... Oh, we got some dropped network frames here. That's fine. Okay. Okay, each level has... Okay, so how do I want to discuss this? So I've differentiated a little bit from this, the outline, in the sense that, like, this stuff, which I was going to have in level design, I've moved up to the basic aspects, like the gameplay, I mean. Have I already discussed damage you, different types of monsters, different movement patterns. Cool, okay. Each level has an shop. In which you can purchase gear from a randomized pool of items. Okay, I want to keep this more gameplay centric. Yeah. I kind of got to remember now how I was going to go with this. Not discuss, make you want to... Okay. Yeah... now this is actually really important because the coins you get in this game from killing monsters, you buy items in the game's item shop, use levels in item shop, which you can purchase gear from a randomized pool of items. Cannot think of a good way to put this. Has an item shop that you can purchase 3 pieces of gear from. Just put it that way. 3 random pieces. What's up, little man? How you doing? Pieces of gear from. There we go. Just writing tonight. Just chill. Chill stream tonight. No games. So you can hang out if you want. But if you don't want to, I also understand. But I hope you're doing well tonight anyway. Sorry I wasn't able to stream earlier. I had a long day at work today. But I wanted to get in at least a small stream this night. So I'll probably stream for like an hour or so. Just do some writing. Okay, let's look at the outline here. Did I see the Discord? I have, but it's been a hot minute. So let me check up on it on my phone. Let's see what's going on. Hopefully it's not too much of a mess. Alright. Discord. Oof. Oh, man. That's funny. Center of balance. That's rough, buddy. I see it. I saw it now. I'm not the most balanced fellow either. Okay, I covered that. Covered that. Did I cover the simple controls? Sense of rhythm, because not only do you bestowed all your enemies, you move into monster, you damage and... Okay. I thought I brought it up. Now, this is somewhat simpler by the fact the player can only go in 4 directions. Left, up, right, and down. Let's make a editor's note there. Show keyboard controls. Alright. Cool. But yeah, I saw the Discord pic though. That is, that's a bummer. However, the ever-increasing quantity and strength of enemies means that the player will never be in want of a fun, challenging fight. In want, I feel like I used in want of a lot. In want of synonym. Boom, boom. Oh wait, I know this song. What's this song? Okay, 11:37. Oh, this is Dust by Moon. I've heard this a lot. There aren't enough cool synthwave songs. It's a bummer. I feel like it's too small a genre. I can't find enough good synthwave music. Okay, in want synonyms. You'll never be... off by 1%. I know, right? It's such a little thing, but it can be so annoying. You'll never be wanting for, you'll never be... I want to replace in want of because I feel like that's a phrase I say too much. Let's just highlight that. Let's keep my eye on it. You'll never be without. You'll never be without a fun, challenging fight. No. I might just have to rewrite that sentence in general. However, the ever-increasing quantity and strength of enemies means that the player will never be wanting for... Never be in lieu of, without... Man. Will never be... If anybody in chat has a good synonym for this, let me know. Never be in want of, in need of... be in want, maybe? Will never be hard up for... Ooh, that's not bad. Never be hard up for... Not even one... Was it 0.1%? Hold on, I gotta recheck this pick now. Because 0.1%, that's not bad. 0.1% is pretty good. Dang. You know, that's not bad, though. That's pretty good balance, honestly. Like, that is kick-ass balance. I'd be happy about that, dude. I'd be fucking ecstatic to know my balance was only a tiny bit off. I like never be hard up for. Never be hard up for. Never be hard up for. The only question is, does that sound awkward when I say it out loud? It means that the player will never be hard up for a fun, challenging fight. Sounds a little awkward. In need of... Will never be without a fun, challenging fight. Never be pining for a... Suffer privation. What the fuck does that mean? We'll never be suffering privation for a... That sounds incredibly awkward. In want of is just like the easiest way to say it. Feel a dearth of? What the fuck does that mean? We'll never... We'll always have, maybe? Maybe I could just turn a positive spin on that. The ever-increasing quantity and strength of enemies means that the player will always have... Maybe that's a good idea. Just make it a more positive approach. We'll always... have... We'll always be in a... We'll always... However, the ever-increasing quantity and strength of enemies... Okay, hold on. Let's just go back. Someone left, right, up, and down. However, the ever-increasing quantity and strength of enemies means that the player will always have... Must always be prepared for a fun, challenging fight. Will always... Experience. Will always... I don't like experience. Experience a fun, challenging? That's weird. Will always... What's new with you, though, little man? What have you been up to lately? The player will always blank. Will always be in the middle of a fun, challenging... No, that doesn't work. The player will always... Ever-increasing quantity and strength of enemies means that the player will always have a fun, challenging fight in store. Golly. Have to always be prepared for fun shit. No. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it back the way it was. Never want for a fun challenge. Never be in want of a fun, challenging fight. Eh. Sometimes there just isn't a better way to say something, even if you wish there was. Never be in want of a fun, challenging fight. Sure. Fun, challenging fight. Now, it's true that the game makes you move to the beat of the music. There's also several gameplay mechanics I've not yet discussed which make you want to move to the beat of the music. First of these being that if you're made in time with the tune, the ground turns into a disco dance floor, which is really just a fun visual. Which is just a really fun visual. Oh, golly. Secondly, and more mechanically significant, the longer you stay in beat with the music, the bigger your coin multiplier gets, up to a maximum of ×4. This is actually really important because the coins you get in this game from killing monsters let you buy items from the game's item shop. Let you buy various adventurers' tools. That sounds fun. Various tools and adventurer might... I'm gonna say adventurers' tools, because that sounds more fun than items. Adventurers' tools. Adventurers' tools from the game's item shop. Each level is an item shop that you can it's gotta be a better word for item, right? Item. Working on your own fighting game. Ooh, very cool, very cool. Any details, even minor ones about the game, or are you keeping everything under wraps for now? Various adventurers' tools from the game's item shops. Each level has an item shop that you can... has a merchant that you can... Instead of saying item shop again, I could say merchant. That's probably a good way to put it. Has a merchant that you can possess 3 random pieces of... You can purchase 3 pieces of gear from. 3 random pieces of gear. 3 random... Not there, because... How do I properly elucidate? Because the thing is that the gear is random, but you know what it is. 3... not randomly generated. 3... Not unique. Just 3 pieces of gear, I guess? This level has a merchant. 3... randomly spawned. No. Let's find a synonym for random. Maybe I could find... I like to... Usually I'll go to like thesaurus.com. Adventitious. That is a wonderful word. Not what I'm looking for, but wonderful. Oh gosh, what'd I do? Okay, we're good. Okay, didn't want adventitious. Random, not fluky. Not hit or miss. Arbitrary is the closest. 3... If I just show the item shop, I could probably just say 3 random pieces of gear from. Each level has a merchant that you can purchase 3 random pieces of gear from. Coin multiplier, good. The coins you get in this game from killing monsters let you buy various adventurers' tools from the game's item shop. Each level has a merchant that you can purchase 3 random pieces of gear from. As an item merchant. The game's merchants. Each level has an item shop. An item merchant, maybe. I don't know what to do here. Golly. Let me look over the review here, or because I need to insert my own opinion a little more. Now let's go back to my thesis here. Okay, talk about the genres. Okay, here's where I talk about the elements. So basically, these are what, how it uses these to form a new genre. Okay. I'm gonna look up, oh yeah, I should probably look that up in a different tab. Staples of rogue-like games. Okay. Boo 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 boo. Do 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 do. Okay, general gameplay. This is the kind of research I do, by the way, for these reviews. Like, I'll look up, looking up research on roguelike games, you know. From big things to a single word. Character through the dungeon, collecting treasure, which can include do 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 do. Maybe I should even bring up here, kind of on a meta level. Pieces of gear from. And the gear and the items you get can vary. Can be anything from new boots that let you with effects such as that let you. Oh, hold on, I put on caps lock. God damn it. Let's see. From new boots that let you. I need to look up the types of boots. Crypt of the Necrodancer boots. Yeah, what's up, Captain Stracha? I'm just working on scripts and stuff. Right now I'm looking at different boots in Crypt of the Necrodancer. Try to decide on one whose effect I want to mention for my review. Boots such as... Wow, okay, I haven't even seen this one. About what I think about? Yeah. The what you think about reviews. This one is Crypt of the Necrodancer. I'm working on the script right now. So what's new with you, my man? Boom, boom, pa, boom, boom, pa. That's actually not a bad idea, those ones. Okay, so they're the Explorer's Boots. From new boots that let you walk unaffected over tar and hot coals. Working on the voice acting thing in mid-December if I want to join. I'm down to dub over clips. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, DM me your project and I will definitely do that. Fuck yeah. DM me or the script or whatever. Or if it's just different, if I'm just dubbing over different videos, then I don't know. You know, send me the clips and tell me what character I am. Affected over tar, hot coals, and other terrains to... Over... messy terrain? No, over... Unsolid terrains. I'm gonna change that in a second. Such as... Okay, I don't want unsolid. Over... Hazardous, that's a good word. Hazardous terrains such as tar and hot coals. Purchase 3. Each level as a merchant, you can purchase 300 pieces of gear from, and the items that you get can be anything from new boots that let you walk unaffected over hazardous terrains such as tar and hot coals to... Hold on, let me catch up on chat. Boop, boop, pa, boop, boop, pa. Bum, bum, bum. Coals to... I think I know this track. I think I've heard this one before. 20... What is this? 29 something? Night Call. Yeah, I think I've heard this one. Some of these are in the Hotline Miami, I think, soundtrack, which I listened to recently. It was a good one, by the way. It's a pretty good listen if you're into synthwave. Such as tar and hot coals to... Maybe I should bring up new weapons. Interesting. Sorry if I'm not talking, y'all. I'm kind of trying to check here what these different items are. To weapons such as a bow. To weapons such as a bow that modify your attack range attack range and damage. And so many other items. And so many... to weapons such as bows that... such as a bow that modify... such as bows. Weapons such as a bow that modify your attack range and damage. To various weapons. Here, let's just do various weapons. And I can just show... to various weapons. Which... weapons which... sounds good. Weapons which modify... your attack range and damage. So you have concept... hold on. If you put her in the final build, people are probably going to sexualize her. Yeah, it tends to happen. Not always, though. Some characters still... even female characters still remain as, like, just pure badassery. You might want to get inspiration from them. Just in terms of, like, minor details. Or, I don't know, character traits, even. But, I mean, I don't know. People are going to sexualize anything. It's just the weird society we live in. You know what I mean? Attack range and damage, and... innumerable other items besides that take and innumerable other items besides with that have their own categories and slash range of categories and range of effects. Ranges of effects? Range of effects? Hold on. This is sloppy. Boom. Right. Show various boots. At least I could probably download PNGs of the sprites, which is nice. If I can download PNGs of the weapon sprites and then I can type in little descriptions below, that'll actually make my life really easy for that aspect of the review. And then here, let's do, I don't know, show weapons, I guess? Show weapons. Sure. And innumerable other items besides have their own categories and range of effects. Range of effects? But yeah, Captain Stracha, if you're still there, I'm totally down with that project. That sounds awesome. Effects. Now to... range of effects. And I'm going to put a beat here. For those of you who don't know what that is, a beat generally in like scripts or comedy or anything, it's a pause, generally for effect, some sort of effect. It can be comedic or just like a good transition. Yo, cool. Good to hear it, Cap. I'm looking forward to working with you, my man. That should be super fun. What was I doing? What was I saying? Oh yeah, so this is a beat right there. And that's basically to let me know when I'm recording and when I'm editing, like, leave a little pause here. I'll probably just include some gameplay B-roll or something while I'm doing that. Okay, beat. Categories of effects. Now, for gamers, now for those of you familiar with rogue, like, there doesn't need to be a dash there, I'm doing it just for the heck of it. Roguelike games. Now, for those of you familiar with roguelike games, most of these aspects, of the... Can't wait to watch this on December. This comes out on January 1st, dude. Don't you know my schedule? Come on, bruh. There's no way in hell I'm finishing this in 4 days. Jesus Christ. Actually, what day is it today? Yeah, no. Like, you know my schedule. This is January 1st. I can't wait to watch this on January 1st. Honestly, this is gonna be great. Most of the gameplay facets. God, if this came out on December 1st, it would suck. Because it would be nothing. Most familiar with roguelike games, most of the gameplay facets I've described are nothing new. Nothing particularly extraordinary or new to the genre. Most of the gameplay facets I've described are nothing particularly extraordinary, comma, or new to the genre. But the way they're contextualized within the... What's up, Trashbean35? The script is for the next game review I'm doing. The series is called What I Think About. I've come out with 2 of them already. And this one's for the game Crypt the Necrodancer. It's a roguelike rhythm game, and it kind of kicks ass. So I was like, you know what? I want to talk about it. So I'm working on a script for a review of it. It's like a game that's like 4 years old. At this point, it came out in 2015, but I love it. Ignore that. A few of this game's at whatever. It's fine. But the way that they're contextualized within the not premise, the bounds within the, I guess, hold on. I'm gonna write premise just as a temp thing, and then I'll revise it. Within the premise of dancing makes them feel like a fresh experience. I don't know, that's a little lame. I need to revise this sentence to hell. Blech. Have any water left? Roguelike games. Most of the gameplay facets I've described are nothing particularly extraordinary or new to the genre, but the way they're contextualized within the premise of dancing makes them feel like a fresh experience. No. It's kind of what I want to say, but not exactly how I want to say it. Let me go back to my outline here. Because I've kind of merged paragraphs 2 and 1 a little bit, or concepts 2 and 1. Like this. Now, 3 here, narrative, that's kind of its own thing. These I want to splice together, these ideas, but this one... Cadence of Hyrule is actually made by the creators of Crypt the Necrodancer. Cadence is the main character of Crypt the Necrodancer. That's funny that you know that one, though. I guess a lot of people would because it's a Zelda game. But yeah, so Crypt the Necrodancer came first. And then those same developers and the same music composer worked on, or made Cadence of Hyrule. So yeah. That's awesome, though. I have yet to play Cadence of Hyrule, but it looks so fun. I think the only main difference between those games is that in Cadence of Hyrule, obviously, you can also play as Link and Zelda, and in Crypt the Necrodancer, all the levels are, like, randomly generated, and so there's a lot of replayability. It's so much fun. It's probably pretty cheap on Steam right now, too, or y'all could wait until the holidays, closer to Christmas time. I bet there's gonna be a nice, tasty Steam sale, or it's also on console, too, and it's the The controls are so simple and the music kicks ass. I'm actually contemplating playing the soundtrack. I got some synthwave stuff going right now. I'm just gonna play the Crypt of the Necrodancer soundtrack, because why not? It's good to get me in the spirit. Soundtrack. I forgot to input soundtrack. Shucks. Let's see. Playlist, I guess. I'll just do album. There we go. Not exactly the highest quality, is it? No, it's good enough. Okay. I literally like it that in my notes I put, say that more elegantly. Okay. So what did I splice into one here? Okay. Okay. Oh, I didn't bring this up at all. Okay, interesting. Ooh, okay. Let's outline that with green, just so I know to come to that. Because the way I put it, I went directly with the coin aspect. But that's kind of a microcosm, or a micro bit of that, the gems. Because the gems are the important between, okay. View the music, the bigger your coin multiplier gets, up to a maximum of ×4. And this is actually really important because the coins you get in this game from killing monsters let you buy various adventurers' tools. I like that phrasing. In the game's item shops, each level has a merchant that you can purchase 3 random pieces of gear from, and the items you get can be anything from new boots that let you walk unaffected over hazardous terrain, such as tar and hot coals, to various weapons which modify your attack range and damage, and innumerable other items besides that have their own categories and range of effects. Now, for those of you familiar with roguelike games, most of the gameplay facets I've described are nothing particularly extraordinary or new to the genre. But the way they're smooth, I want to give more of a pot. The way that they're smoothly contextualized. But the way that they're smoothly contextualized, there's a bit of like a glottal stop if I put it that. But the way that there, I don't know, it just sounds awkward. But the way they're smoothly contextualized within the premise of dancing makes them feel like I don't like the way I put this. Makes them feel like a fresh experience. That's so generic. So lame. The way they're smoothly contextualized within the premise of dancing. Premise of dancing links back to my thesis. It's basic gameplay, movement mechanics, its level design, narrative depth. Your main goal is to fight your way down through the 4 zones of the Necrodancer's dungeon lair and ultimately defeat the Necrodancer himself. It's a simple premise and acts as a familiar narrative foundation upon which the game's gameplay can juxtapose its odder facets. Reuse of the word facets again. Boom. Gameplay facets I've described. Facets links back to up here. Where did I put that? It's art. Boom. Facets. Nice. It's a narrative link back, whatever you call it. Actually, I think that's pretty nice. You see, while Crypt of the Necrodancer's gameplay bears echoes from classics such as the original Legend of Zelda, show original LOZ gameplay, it differentiates itself through its central motif, dancing. Now, every aspect of this game perfectly composites that core idea, but the first one that I'd like to discuss is its gameplay. Crypt of the Necrodancer, you can only move in time with the beat of the music, as displayed by the pulsing heart at the bottom of the screen. And the only skill you absolutely need is a sense of rhythm. And I guess sight too. Sorry, blind folks, this might not be the game for you, though if you're blind, you're probably not consuming this review. If you are, even just listening, wait, did I say but twice? Folks, this might not be the game for you, though if you're blind, you're probably not consuming this review. But if you are But if you are even just listening to it, thanks. I appreciate that too. Anyhow, as I was saying, the only skill you'll really need in this game is a sense of rhythm, because not only do you move to the beat of the music, but so do all of your enemies. Okay, now she's meant to be sexualized. Well, that's lame if a character is meant to be sexualized. I don't know. I guess it's fine. Like, for me, I prefer a character like Bayonetta, where, like, sure, she's sexy, but she owns it, you know what I mean? Versus, like Bayonetta, like, controls her sexuality, and it's a wonderful character trait. Versus, like, Quiet from Metal Gear, where she's, like, weirdly sexualized, but it's, like, I don't know, it just makes me feel weird. You know what I mean? I don't know, that's just in my brain kind of... There's a divide between the two types of sexualization of female characters. This creates... Okay. It's a rhythm, because not only do you move to the beat of music, but so do all of your enemies. You move into a monster, you damage them, and if they move into you, they damage you. Additionally, different types of monsters have different movement patterns. This creates absolutely awesome. Not like that. You saying not like Bayonetta or not like Quiet? Because I think one is better than the other, personally. But that's my own opinion. I own my opinion. This creates absolutely awesome fight scenarios in which the player has to understand how a sizable number of foes move at once and has to skillfully fight around and into said monsters to survive in a flashy dancing duel. Now, this is made somewhat simpler by the fact that the player can only go in 4 directions: left, up, right, and down. I'm gonna show that. Not like Quiet? Okay. Nice. Yeah, no, it's fine to have a sexualized character, as long as, like, they own their sexuality. As long as they're not being sexualized by other characters, you know what I mean? But yeah. Means that the player will never be in want of a fun, challenging fight. Now, while it's true that the game makes you move to the beat of the music, there's also several gameplay mechanics I've not yet... Okay, that. Whew. Tar and hot coal. Okay. I haven't used the word incentivizes yet. Particularly extraordinary new to the genre. Oh, this is a perfect time to integrate it. Gameplay facets are nothing new or nothing particularly extraordinary and new to the genre, but the way they're smoothly contextualized within the premise of dancing makes them... But they're... integrated so perfectly into the context of dancing that they serve, that they just incentivize but they're so satisfyingly integrated into the context of dancing Okay, now when I'm talking about gameplay mechanics, I'm talking up here. I don't mention that many gameplay mechanics. I almost feel like I should mention more gameplay mechanics. But it's really kind of simple. Okay, hold on, let me look down here. Blah, blah, blah. Funny joke. Sense of humor. So what do you do in the game? You dance around. You fight monsters. You get items. You get items to fight monsters, to dance around, to fight monsters, to get gold, to get items, to beat bosses. The bosses are the end of the gameplay loop, really. And I don't bring them up at all in gameplay. I don't think I even bring up bosses until, like... down here somewhere. like the sense of humor. I can't believe I don't bring up bosses at all. That's such an oversight. I don't want to rewrite this whole bit though. But they're so satisfying. Okay, hold on. Are bosses a staple of roguelike games? Rogue-like staples. That's probably not going to get me my result. Roguelike games. That should give me like a Wikipedia, right? It's funny to see Crypt of the Necrodancer on people's like top roguelike lists. That's funny. There is a whole section on the music of this game, by the way. I absolutely love the soundtrack. Key features. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, I also haven't brought up the permadeath thing, which I don't know if I brought up at all. This seems almost preemptive. So I'm gonna put red on this, because this really feels preemptive to me to be like, all these gameplay mechanics, blah, blah, blah. So let's do a lighter red, so I can still read the words. Categories in their own categories and range of effects. Let's just do a quick summary of the mechanics thus far. So in summary, you get... This is probably actually a good idea. So in summary, when you don't know what to do, summarize what you did so far. So in summary, you kill monsters. What's up, Grilled Cheese? How you doing tonight, my man? You kill monsters to get gold. Comma, to buy gear, to kill monsters, you're also having after battle conversation. What do you mean by that? After battle conversation? Do you mean like in your fighting game the characters talk to each other after a battle? Because that's awesome. Also, if you're doing voices for your characters, I'd love to voice one. Hey, Affinity! How are you doing? Welcome to my possibly boring live stream where I just write a script. Or work on my script. I'm probably not going to finish it tonight, because I should go to bed in about a half hour. I will be doing Jackbox games this Thursday, which I'm looking forward to. A little Thanksgiving stream. Yeah. Okay, cool, little man. So your characters will converse post-battle. That's very like Street Fighter. That's really fun. You're doing fantastic. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. What have you been up to lately? And how about you, Grilled Cheese? What have you been up to also, my man? Kill monsters to get gold, to buy gear, to kill more monsters. It's really fun. It's really fun. But what's the end goal? No, it's really fun. It's really fun. Exclamation point. It's really fun. Another beat. Let's put another beat here. Actually, wait. Effects. So in summary, you get... Maybe I should put the beat here instead. Okay, let's see how this reads. Modify your attack range and damage, and innumerable other items besides that have their own categories and range of effects. So in summary, you kill monsters to get gold, to buy gear, to kill more monsters. It's really fun. But what's the end game? Dot dot dot. But endgame. It's currently 2 a.m. for you, so not much apparently. It's snowing for the first time there. You'll totally join on Thursday. Sounds fun. You don't think you have much planned after Thanksgiving? Yeah, I'm gonna be doing it probably earlier in the day because I think I'll be doing some evening Thanksgiving-y kind of family stuff. So, yeah, very cool. It's almost midnight. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's about 11 for me. In a minute, it's 11 pretty much. Why aren't you in bed, grilled cheese, at 2 a.m.? I've been trying to get to sleep earlier, man. It's hard. It's hard to go to bed earlier. What's the end game? Okay, so the only issue I'm encountering is that this is a fun question to ask and answer, but it kind of contradicts my outline at the beginning. Now, the main goal, blah, 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 to fight your way down through the 4 zones of the Necrodancer's dungeon layer. Okay. Simple premise, blah, blah, blah. And so putting it this way almost is like ignoring that. Fun. Yeah. It is fun. Fun stuff. I can't wait, too. Tomorrow morning I get to meet up with a friend. It's a friend I don't get to meet up with very often because she's usually out of town. You are in bed. I will be, too, probably in about a half hour or so. Man, I thought I was going to do like a 20-minute stream tonight, but I'm going longer. I'm getting some stuff done on the script. It's nice. I'm really looking forward to this, by the way. This review should be up by January 1st is my goal. Hopefully that'll happen. Buy gear to kill more monsters. It's really fun. Okay. As I previously stated, I feel like... Okay, so let me explain where my brain's at right now. I feel like the direction I'm going here is not only restating the premise earlier, which is fine to do in moderation, but it's also going to extend the length. It's going to be very repetitive and annoying and kind of pointless. So I want to find a way to rewrite this smidgen. Kill monsters. It's really fun. But what is the ultimate goal? You know, I guess I have to restate. I'm going to just restate it to get my brain in the right track. What's the ultimate? But is the... Wait, what? What the fuck? What is the ultimate goal? But how... Oh, this is hard to write. It's hard to write sometimes, you know? Especially when it's like late at night and your brain's like, I am dead inside. So in summer you kill monsters to get gold, buy gear to kill more monsters. You just saw Frozen 2 tonight and that's why you're still up. How was it? I personally don't have much of an interest in seeing it, but I mean I saw the first one and I was like, this is fine. This is okay. It was thoroughly okay. It wasn't super special to me personally, but a lot of people seem to like it. You get that. You don't even know how I'm still going. I don't know how I'm still going either. Cheers, mate. I think I'm gonna make... I forgot I was gonna make some tea. I'll do that after my live stream. I'll make some tea and read some H.P. Lovecraft. Heck, maybe I should just take a break and do that. What if I just read a short story? You love it so much. It's actually much better than the first. Better plot and everything. Even the songs are better. You mean there isn't a song all about how a snowman wants to see summer, even though when he sees summer he'll melt because he's a snowman? Oh man, what a conflicted plotline that was. Okay, I have another problem here, which is I'm considering leaving it off at this right now and just like reading to you guys for a bit. But But the only issue is that I'm worried if I leave off here, I'm going to come back to this tomorrow and be like, what the fuck was in my brain and how do I proceed? But at the same time, I'm too caught up, I think, in the wires of it right now. So I need to just take a break. Yeah, hold on. Let me do a thing real quick. Let's remove the screen capture. Let's switch face camera. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I'm so enormous. Why am I so enormous? Can we not do that? Oh god, no. Oh dear god, no. Too big. Too big. Bigness. Too much bigness. It was wonderful. Have I had an Arnold Palmer? Half tea, half lemonade. I have not. That sounds very interesting, though. I definitely haven't. Usually when I have tea, I just have, like, tea. You know what I mean? Big James. I know, it's a nightmare, Big James. We try not to show off Big James too much. A little spooky. Big James. Maybe I should put on some spooky music. Let's see here. I don't know. Spooky music. 'Cause I'm gonna read y'all some spooky H.P. Lovecraft. Probably spooky. I don't know. 3 hours of scary, ominous, and creepy horror music. That'll do. Alright. Maybe I'm compensating. Sounds weird, but hey, it's actually pretty good. Yeah. Why am I too big? I know, right? Big James. Okay, can you guys hear the music? Can you hear me? Okay, here we go. I have the complete... Hold on. The complete works, complete fiction of H.P. Lovecraft. It's a fucking enormous volume. Look, compare it to my head. It's absolutely just fucking bonkers enormous. And it's all of H.P. Lovecraft's short stories. So let's minimize that. Hold it up here. I'm gonna hold it up while I read. It's gonna get very uncomfortable. Alright, this story is called The Transition of Juan Romero. Of the events which took place at the Norton Mine on October 18th and 19th, 1894, I have no desire to speak. A sense of duty to science is all that impels me to recall, in these last years of my life, scenes and happenings fraught with a terror doubly acute because I can wholly not define it. But I believe that before I die I shall tell what of the, shall I say, transition of Juan Romero. My name and origin need not be related to posterity. In fact, I fancy it is better that they should not be. For when a man suddenly migrates to the States or the colonies, he leaves his past behind him. Besides, what I once was is not in the least relevant to my narrative, save perhaps the fact that during my service in India I was more at home amongst white-bearded native teachers than amongst my brother officers. I delved not a little into odd Eastern lore when overtaken by the calamities which brought about my new life in America's vast West, a life wherein I found it well to accept my name, my present one, which is very common and carries no meaning. In the summer and autumn of 1984, actually 1894, I meant to say 1894, I dwelt in the drear expanses of the Cactus Mountains, employed as a common laborer of the celebrated Norton Mine, whose discovery by an aged prospector some years before had turned the surrounding region from a nearly unpeopled waste to a seething cauldron of sordid life. The fiction of him, I mean the fiction he wrote, he didn't write real stories, he wrote fiction. But he wrote the stories about Cthulhu and shit, yeah. Okay, have the conversation done. I'll keep up the conversation. Anyway, as I was saying, A cavern of gold lying deep below a mountain lake had enriched its venerable finder beyond his wildest dreams and now formed the seat of extensive tunneling operations on the part of the corporation to which it had finally been sold. Additional grottos had been found, and the yield of yellow metal was exceedingly great, so that a mighty and heterogeneous army of miners toiled day and night in the numerous passages and rock hollows. The superintendent, Mr. Arthur, often discussed the singularity of the local geological formations, speculating on the probable extent of the chain of caves and estimating the future of the Titanic mining enterprise. He considered the auriferous cavities the result of the action of water and believed the last of them would soon be opened. It was not long after my arrival in employment that Juan Romero came to the Norton mine. One of a large herd of unkempt Mexicans attracted thither from the neighboring country, he at first commanded attention only because of his features, which, though plainly of the Red Indian type, were yet... Wow, that's racist. Fucking breaking the fourth wall here a little bit, but, these short stories were made a long time ago. Yet were unremarkable for their light color and refined conformation. Being vastly unlike those of the average greaser or Paiute of the locality, it is curious that, although he differed so widely from the mask of Hispanicized and tribal Indians, Romero gave not the least impression of Caucasian blood. It was not the Castellan conquistador of the American pioneer, but the ancient and noble Aztec, whom imagination called to view when the silent peon would arise in the early morning and gaze in fascination at the sun as it crept above the eastern hills. Meanwhile, stretching out his arms to the orb, as if in the performance of some rite whose nature he himself did not comprehend, but, save for his face, Romero was not in any way suggestive of nobility. Ignorant and dirty, he was at home among the... Wow, alright. There's a lot of racism in this story. I'm just reading the book, folks. I'm going to read this. Ignorant and dirty, he was at home amongst the other brown-skinned Mexicans, having come, so I was afterward told, from the very lowest sort of surroundings. He had been found as a child in a crude mountain hut, the only survivor of an epidemic which had stalked lethally by. Near the hut, close to a rather unusual rock fissure, had lain two skeletons, newly picked by vultures, and presumably forming the sole remains of his parents. No one recalled their identity, and they were soon forgotten by the many. Indeed, the crumbling of the adobe hut and the closing of the rock fissure by a subsequent avalanche had helped to efface even the scene from recollection. Reared by a Mexican cattle thief who had given him his name, Juan differed little from his fellows. Jesus Christ. You just woke up. Hey, Lady Baguette. So I was writing stuff earlier, and now I'm reading H.P. Lovecraft. Funny how these things happen. The attachment which Romero had manifested towards me was undoubtedly commenced through the quaint and ancient Hindu ring which I wore when not engaged in active labor. How long is this fucking short story? Because, Jesus Christ, it's so racist. It's so racist. Okay, it's not that long. Of its nature and manner of coming into my possession, I cannot speak. It's 7 a.m. in the morning. It's so weird being at a late stream. I know, right? For me, it's like over 11. It's like 11:13. Soon I observed the odd-looking Mexican was likewise interested, eyeing it with an expression that banished all suspicion of mere covetousness. Its hoary hieroglyphs seemed to stir some faint recollection in his untutored but active mind, although he could not possibly have beheld their like before. Within a few weeks after his advent, Romero was like a faithful servant to me, this notwithstanding the fact that I myself was but an ordinary miner. Our conversation was necessarily limited. He knew but a few words of English, while I found my Oxonian Spanish was something quite different from the patois of the peon of New Spain. The event which I am about to relate was unheralded by long premonitions, though the man Romero had interested me. And though my ring had affected him peculiarly, I think that neither of us had any expectation of what was to follow when the great blast was set off. Geological considerations had dictated an extension of the mine directly downward from the deepest part of the subterranean area, and the belief of the superintendent that only solid rock would be encountered had led to the placing of a prodigious charge of dynamite. With this work, Romero and I were not connected, wherefore our first knowledge of extraordinary conditions came from others. The charge, heavier perhaps than had been estimated, had seemed to shake the entire mountain. Windows and shanties on the slope outside were shattered by the shock, whilst miners throughout the nearer passages were knocked from their feet. Jewel Lake, which lay above the scene of the action, heaved as in a tempest. Upon investigation, it was seen that a new abyss yawned indefinitely below the seat of the blast, an abyss so monstrous that no handy line might fathom it, nor any lamp illuminate it. Baffled, the excavators sought a conference with the superintendent, who ordered great lengths of rope to be taken from the pit and spliced and lowered without cessation till a bottom might be discovered. Shortly afterward, the pale-faced workmen apprised the superintendent of their failure. Firmly though respectfully, they signified their refusal to revisit the chasm, or indeed to work further in the mine until it might be sealed. Something beyond their experience was evidently confronting them, for so far as they could ascertain, the void below was infinite. The superintendent did not reproach them. Instead, he pondered deeply, and made many plans for the following day. The night shift did not go on that evening. At 2 a.m, a lone coyote on the mountain began to howl dismally. From somewhere within the works, a dog barked in answer, either to the coyote or to something else. A storm was gathering around the peaks of the range, and weirdly shaped clouds scudded horribly across the blurred patch of celestial light which marked a gibbous moon's attempts to shine through the many layers of cirrostratus vapors, or cirrostratus, I don't know. It was Romero's voice, coming from the bunk above, that awakened me, a voice excited and tense with some vague expectation I could not understand. Madre de Dios, el sonido, ese sonido, yoga, lo señor, that sound. I listened, wondering what he could mean. The coyote, the dog, the storm, all were audible, the last named now gaining ascendancy. As the wind shrieked more and more frantically, flashes of lightning were visible through the bunkhouse window. I questioned the nervous Mexican, repeating the sounds I had heard. El coyote? El perro? El viento? But Romero did not reply. Then he commenced, whispering as in awe, El ritmo, señor, el ritmo de la tierra, that throb down in the ground. And now I also heard and shivered, and without knowing why, deep, deep below me was a sound, a rhythm, just as the peon had said, which, though exceedingly faint, yet dominated even the dog, the coyote, in the increasing tempest. To seek to describe it were useless, for it was such that no description is possible. Perhaps it was like the pulsing of the engines, far down in a great liner, as sensed from the deck, yet it was not so mechanical, not so devoid of the element of life and consciousness. Of all of its qualities, remoteness in the earth most impressed me. To my mind, rushed fragments of a passage in Joseph Glanville, which Poe has quoted with tremendous effect. This is the quote. The vastness, profundity, and unsearchableness of his works, which have a depth in them greater than the well of Democritus. Suddenly, Romero leapt from his bunk, pausing before me to gaze at the strange ring on my hand, which glistened queerly in every flash of lightning, and then, staring intently in the direction of the mine shaft, I also rose, and both stood motionless for a time, straining our ears as the uncanny rhythm seemed more and more to take on a vital quality. Then, without apparent volition, we began to move toward the door, whose rattling in the gale held a comforting suggestion of earthly reality. The changing in the depths, for such the sound now seemed to be, grew in volume and distinctness, and we felt irresistibly urged out into the storm, and thence to the gaping blackness of the shaft. We encountered no living creature, for the men of the night shift had been released from duty and were doubtless at the Dry Gulch settlement, pouring sinister rumors into the ear of some drowsy bartender. From the watchman's cabin, however, gleamed a small square of yellow light, like a guardian eye. I dimly wondered how the rhythmic sound had affected the watchman, but Romero was moving more swiftly now, and I followed without pause. As we descended the shaft, the sound beneath grew definitely composite. It struck me as a horribly like a sort of oriental ceremony, with beating of drums and chanting many voices. I have, as you are aware, been much in India. Romero and I moved without material hesitancy, through drifts and down ladders, ever toward that thing that allured us, yet ever with a pitifully helpless fear and reluctance. At one time, I fancied I'd gone mad. This was when, on wondering how our way was lighted in the absence of lamp or candle, I realized that the ancient ring on my finger was glowing with eerie radiance, diffusing a pallid luster through the damp, heavy air around. It was without warning that Romero, after clambering down one of the many rude ladders, broke into a run and left me alone. Some new and wild note in the drumming and chanting, perceptible but slightly to me, had acted on him in startling fashion. And, with a wild outcry, he forged ahead, unguided in the cavern's gloom. I heard his repeated shrieks before me as he stumbled awkwardly along the level places and scrambled madly down the rickety ladders, and frightened as I was, I yet retained enough of perception to note that his speech, when articulate, was not of any sort known to me. Harsh, but impressive polysyllables had replaced the customary mixture of bad Spanish and worse English, and of these only the oft-repeated cry, Huitzilopochtli, seemed in the least familiar. Later, I definitely placed that word in the works of a great historian, and shuddered when the association came to me. The climax of that awful night was composite but fairly brief, beginning just as I reached the final cavern of the journey. Out of the darkness immediately ahead burst a final shriek from the Mexican, which was joined by such a chorus of uncouth sound as I could never hear again and survive. In that moment it seemed as if all the hidden terrors and monstrosities of earth had become articulate in an attempt to overwhelm the human race. Simultaneously, the light from my ring was extinguished, and I saw a new light glimmering from lower space but a few yards ahead of me. I had arrived at the abyss, which was now redly aglow, and which had evidently swallowed up the unfortunate Romero. Advancing, I peered over the edge of that chasm, which no line could fathom, and which was now a pandemonium of flickering flame and hideous uproar. At first I beheld nothing but a seeming blur of luminosity, but then shapes, all infinitely distant, began to detach themselves from the confusion, and I saw... Was it Juan Romero? But God, I dare not tell you what I saw. Some power from heaven, coming to my aid, obliterated both sights and sounds in such a crash as may be heard when two universes collide in space. Chaos supervened, and I knew the peace of oblivion. I hardly know how to continue, since conditions so singular are involved, but I will do my best, not even trying to differentiate betwixt the real and the apparent. When I awaked, I was safe in my bunk, and the red glow of dawn was visible at the window. Some distance away, the lifeless body of John Romero lay upon a table, surrounded by a group of men, including the camp doctor. The men were discussing the strange death of the Mexican as he lay asleep, a death seemingly connected in some way with the terrible bolt of lightning which had struck and shaken the mountains. No direct cause was evident, and an autopsy failed to shew any reason why Romero should not be living. Snatches of conversation indicated beyond a doubt that neither Romero nor I had left the bunkhouse during the night, that neither had been awake during the frightful storm which had passed over the Cactus Range. That storm, said men who had ventured down the mine shaft, had caused extensive caving in, and had completely closed the deep abyss which he had created so much apprehension the day before. When I asked the watchman what sounds he had heard prior to the mighty thunderbolt, he mentioned a coyote, a dog, and the snarling mountain wind. Nothing more, nor do I doubt his word. Upon the resumption of work, Superintendent Arthur called on some especially dependable men to make a few investigations around the spot where the gulf had appeared. Though hardly eager, they obeyed, and a deep boring was made. Results were very curious. The roof of the void, as seen whilst it was open, was not by any means thick. Yet now the drills of the investigators met what appeared to be a limitless extent of solid rock. Finding nothing else, not even gold, the superintendent abandoned his attempts, but a perplexed look occasionally steals over his countenance as he sits thinking at his desk. One other thing is curious. Shortly after waking on that morning after the storm, I noticed the unaccountable absence of my Hindu ring from my finger. I had prized it greatly, yet nevertheless felt a sensation of relief at its disappearance. If one of my fellow miners appropriated it, he must have been quite clever in disposing of his booty, for despite advertisements and police search, the ring was never seen again. Somehow I doubted if it was stolen by mortal hands, for many strange things were taught to me in India. My opinion of this whole experience varies from time to time. In broad daylight, and at most seasons, I'm apt to think the greater part of it a mere dream, but sometimes in the autumn, about 2 in the morning, when wind blows and animals howl dismally, there comes from inconceivable depths below a damnable succession of rhythmical throbbing, and I feel that the transition of Juan Romero was a terrible one indeed. There we go. Boom. Woo! And that was a short story by H.P. Lovecraft. Let's see, what time is it? It's like 11:25. I think that's probably going to be about me for the night. That was pretty fun. A little unusual, but pretty fun. Yeah. Thank you, everybody who joined into this weird-ass stream. I want to do more, like, unusual stuff like this. I think that'd be cool. You know, I thought maybe about doing reading streams. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. Definitely probably not Lovecraft, just because his stuff is so complex and peculiar. I don't think it makes for a really good audible read, just because it's so hard to understand. But maybe some books from my childhood would be cool. I don't know, just something like that might be fun. Some tea and books, you know? Might make for a fun nighttime stream. I could do like a fireplace thing in the background. I could set it up fun. Something, you know, something might be neat. But, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably going to be about me for the night. Go listen to some music, I guess, everyone. I don't know. Let me see. What have I been listening to that I could recommend lately? There's this soundtrack. I think it's on YouTube as well. I watched it or listened to it on Spotify. It's called, I want to say it's called Child of Light. Let me pull up Spotify though real quick and check that. It's real chill. It's a video game soundtrack. I think it's called Child of Light. Okay, hold on. Why is sometimes my Spotify does like offline stuff? God, my hand is all jittery now. Since holding that book up so long. That sounds cool. It is cool. It's pretty chill too. Yeah, it's Child of Light by Cour de Pirat. But yeah, check that out, y'all. It's a wonderful little game soundtrack. I think it might be a movie soundtrack, actually. I don't know. Let me look this up real quick. Child of Light. Figure out if it's a game or a movie. It's good either way. Maybe it is a game. Oh, looks like it's a game. Very cool. Is that an indie game? Oh, damn, I might have to play this sometime. Ubisoft Montreal, huh? Oh, neat. I don't know, check out the soundtrack for that. Maybe even get the game. It's like $5. Really? Can't believe it's like $5. Oh my god, I gotta get this, dude. This is gonna be... I mean, Ubisoft is an indie developer, but... This looks like an indie-style game.
Tuck yourself in bed. Let from our world came she.
Oh,
Treachery gave close chase.
Sorry, I was just checking out. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's good. Crypt of the Necrodancer is really good too. That should be probably pretty cheap right now. Let me look that up. Yeah, Crypt of the Necrodancer is $3 right now, everyone. Cour de quoi? Non, c'est Cour de Pirate. Cour de Pirate, oui, oui. I'm just being silly now. But yeah. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Hopefully this review will be coming out, you know, later at the end of the year. That should be really fun. I'm tired, fam. Much love and respect. If it's late at night for you, go get some sleep and have a great night. And I will see you all this Thursday. I doubt I'm not gonna stream tomorrow, just because like I'm meeting up with a friend and then I have work immediately after for the rest of the day. But yeah, I'll do a little Thanksgiving stream on Thursday. Some Jackbox games, and that'll be fun. And then, am I streaming Friday? Let me look that up real quick, folks, because I am curious if I actually don't know if I'm streaming Friday. Let's see here. I am. Cool. Okay, so on Friday I'm streaming Uncharted 4. So that'll be fun. All right. Much love and respect, everyone. Goodbye.